Hey, it's Zach here, and in this episode, I am going to tell you exactly how you can stay on your diet so you can keep getting results for a long period of time, especially if you have 20, 30, 40 pounds to lose. One of the biggest issues I see, are people, they try a method of dieting and they fall off, right? Okay, we've got all these different methods of losing weight, all these different systems. But the number one priority on all of them is a calorie deficit. That's how they all work. So knowing that, we can use any of those, let me check here real quick. All right, we can use any of those dietary methods to lose weight because they all create a calorie deficit, okay? So let's think, you've got one end of the spectrum that would be like super strict and can get great results, but requires a lot of effort. And then you have the other end of the spectrum where it's like super loose, super easy to implement, but it may not get results as fast, or the results might not be as guaranteed, okay? So this is really important to understand that it's all spectrum and one method is not better than the other. And when I'm talking about methods or systems, I'm talking about calorie tracking, macros, Weight Watchers, templates, all this stuff, right? These are methods or systems. So if this is stuff that you would like to hear more of, go ahead and comment below, #community, and I will invite you to my Facebook group. Okay, it's really important because we're going to talk right now exactly how you can finally stick to the plan. All right, so the key here is, you've got this spectrum, and on one end you have tracking your macros. So you're measuring your food, you're tracking all your macronutrients, is that you can get great results doing this, but it does take a good amount of effort. So if you're in a situation where you've got kids, you're working full time, and you're trying to work out, you might struggle with this. Or you go out to eat a lot, maybe you'll struggle a little bit more with this. And then, so you go down the spectrum a little bit more, and now it's like, okay, we're just gonna track Weight Watchers points, or maybe you're gonna track calorie intake only, not macros. So now you're not having to worry about the protein, carbs, and fats, you're just plugging in the calorie information. So you can see how it's probably gonna get better results if you can stick to it, where calorie tracking is a little bit more open, same with Weight Watchers. You're not tracking your protein, carbs, and fats, but you can still get great. A little bit further down the line, right? So now maybe we've got templates. So maybe you're trying to get 1 palm of protein, 1 cupped handful of starch, a fistful of vegetables, and a thumb of fat, okay, with each meal. That's your goal. That's your idea of an optimal meal. So you can see this is a little bit easier, right? So it's gonna be easier to stick to if you're in a stressful situation. If you just hopped on right now, we're talking about basically the spectrum of different dietary methods that you can use depending on your situation so you can get results. So I appreciate you hopping on. Again, #community if you want an invite to my Facebook group. So basically, if you can take, again, you have to look at the spectrum and ask yourself in your life right now, how busy are you? How stressed are you? How motivated are you? So if you're really motivated, you're gonna start on this macros end, right? But you go through the spectrum, we're at hand portions. Hand portions, super simple to implement. You don't have to weigh your food. You are just gonna, you're checking again, palm of protein, fist of veggies, thumb of fat, cupped handful of starch. All right, so that's really simple. And then you've got rule-based ketogenic dieting where you just cut out a macronutrient, okay? You could go low fat. You could say no snacking. These are all rule-based systems to lose weight. They all reduce calories. And rule-based systems are very simple to implement, right? So they're a little further down the scale here, easier to implement. So again, ketogenic dieting would be one of those. A low-fat diet, again, you're just cutting out something or you're putting one specific rule in place that's gonna reduce your intake. Maybe it's reduce your calorie intake because now you're not snacking at night. You see how that works? So if we keep going down the spectrum on these dietary methods, eventually going to come into just until you're barely satisfied, right? So this would be very, very open. It's very subjective. You can do intuitive eating anywhere you go, right? No matter how stressful life is, you could work on intuitive eating and focus on your fullness and hunger cues. So this is so important. So you go right through that spectrum. And so here is the key. Here is really the key. If you can match up your life and you can find the right fit for you right now, That's how you're going to stick to the plan, okay? Remember that life situations change over time. So say you lose your job. All of a sudden, the world's coming down on you, right? It's going to be harder for you now. You've been tracking macros, you've been doing great. You're probably going to fall off on something, whether it's your macros, your workout, something's going to fall off, right? So instead, you need to proactively, maybe you adjust a little bit if you find that you're starting to lose control. So maybe you go from macros to now you're just tracking calories, you're backing off a little bit, you're making it easier on yourself. And if you can learn to adjust and use a dimmer switch instead of an on-off switch, you're going to keep getting results. Remember, a dimmer switch, look at your dieting as a dimmer switch, right? Adjust it as you go, manipulate that, roll with the punches, go with the waves. You're going to get picked up in a wave, you get a lot of momentum, and then that wave's going to crash in your life. And you're going to have to maybe back off a little bit and find an easier method that's easier to stick to, right? So if you've liked this post, please, please, please go ahead and share it. I really would like for this message to get out there. I really appreciate you all getting on here. And again, #community if you'd like a free invite to my group. Thanks, guys. Take care.